Hi, my name is Michelle Merhar. You may remember me from the morning news. I'd like to tell you how getting data and documents into action fast gives you a competitive edge. Digital first thinking to manage document workflows efficiently are giving all organizations a competitive edge. In fact, digital document automation is an essential process, helping us to become more profitable and to compete. By making any process paperless with secure automation, decisions can be made efficiently, virtually from anywhere. You'll be able to find and share documents securely in seconds. Your staff will be empowered by making optimal use of every office hour. And by the way,
Hello and welcome to Salaam Namaste. Broadcasting live from the studios of Now Media TV in Houston, this is Saji Salam. This evening we have a very special guest on the show. We have with us Simran Shaik, who is one of the most prominent community leaders of the transgender community in India. She's also a policy expert on transgender issues and health issues specific to the transgender community. Let's welcome Simran to the show. Hey Simran, great to have you on the show. Let's dive right in with an introduction of what you do, and we'll go from there.
Sure, Dr. Salam, and to everyone who is watching this show, namaste and a huge salam from India. My name is Simran Sheikh Barucha. My preferred pronouns are she and hers. I identify myself as a transgender. Prominently in India, we are also known as a subset of the transgender umbrella term called hijras or kinnars. So that's my identity, whereas my official affiliations are too many. So to name them and to begin with, currently, I work for Plan India, which is an organization. It's an Indian chapter of Plan International based out of the United Kingdoms. And in India, we predominantly work towards the rights of women, girls, and transgender individuals. That's my 9 to 5 job. But apart from it, I also have been working with the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine as a director for the transgender health. A lot of advocacy with the current government, especially to emphasize on legal policies for transgenders in India. Uh, I was a president of the Impulse New Delhi group. It's an informal LGBTQIA plus group which celebrates with a purpose of, of the lives of LGBTQI, uh, keeping in mind that one needs that safe space when we talk about heart-touching or heartfelt issues. So yeah, that's a list. It's a big laundry list of what I do. Uh, but if you ask me as a one-liner, I'm a trans activist. I believe in the cause of doing activism, uh, and try to dream of a day where nobody is killed, shamed, and ridiculed just because they wish to be their own self. So that's my dream. I hope it comes true. Uh, and yeah, this is what I do.
Oh, thanks for that introduction, Simran. It appears that you wear so many hats here, but let's go straight into some of the mythological and historical roots of the transgender community in India, which is very different from how transgender communities evolved in a lot of the other countries around the world. So would be great to get your perspective on that.
Sure, Salam. Let me take you round back around 4,500 years back, and that's where our history of Indian mythology has been written and clearly mentions that transgenders in India were existing since then, and we are existing today also. So, what has changed from then till now is a complete journey. One can really say that. But when we talk about our existence, we are not a alien existence coming from era where nobody even thought about it. We are being written, and I quote these words, we have been written in the Indian Hindu mythological books. We have been mentioned in all the historical moments where we played a very, very prominent roles. When India was being ruled by various dynasties, it's that time we were holding prominent key positions in those dynasty, and we started sort of becoming aliens only when Britishers invaded India, and this is during, I'm speaking almost around 250 years back, sorry, almost 310 years back, when uh, transgenders were considered as tribals and they were put under an act which sort of discriminated them. Recently, before 75 years of this country becoming an independent country, free from any slavery, any um, any prejudice hold by Britishers. During those days, we were so marginalized that nobody even thought about us. Just 10 years back in 2014, the Supreme Court of this country, the highest honorable court of this country, gave us a legal recognition that we are legal citizens of this country. So, yeah, so if you see the journey from 4,500 years, we have been mentioned n number of times. Today, you can see our temples, the Hindu temples in this country, which actually predicts the history and the existence of transgender community. You go to Khajuraho, it is clearly mentioning about the LGBT, the entire spectrum out there carved on the stones for public to really see this. And these temples have not recently come up. They have been existing since very, very long time. So honestly speaking, Salam, I think we have always been there, we will be there, and we are going to be there. That's what our history, mythological ways, and our future is predicting.
It is really fascinating to learn about this evolution of transgender community in India from 5,000 years ago to the impact the British colonization had on the transgender community and the progress that is being made on the legal aspects of the community in India. And talking about the legal aspects, could you touch upon some of the changes or more, the legislations that have happened in the recent past and how they have impacted the community?
Sure, Salam. So, as I mentioned, just in 2014, a decade ago, we were actually recognized as citizens, equal citizens of this country. So, by the highest court of this country. And in 2020, uh, the legislatives were formed for the rights, welfare, of the transgender community, which was also known as the Protection Act of Transgender People in India. So, in history, we have been, there since ages. But when we see in our constitution, we have been there past 3 years, which actually uh, talks about our rights in a way where a lot of work needs to be done. And when I say this statement openly and boldly, I also mean to refer that we have been given our rights, we have been placed in the constitution, in the books of laws, but there still needs to be work done for civil rights. There needs to be work done for equalness. And I just quote one example uh, where I really lose my patience when I really talk about this, that the law has been brought that any sort of discrimination, bully, or harassment against a transgender person would take you for a 2 years imprisonment or a punishment. Whereas when we talk about the actual rights among all the citizens of this country, when you are not supposed to be, creating awful crimes like rape towards any gender, for those the punishment is more even severe. So this indirectly also means that if you rape a transgender woman, you will be only punished for 2 years. Whereas if you actually rape a woman, which is more severe, a cisgender woman, which will be more severe, 7 years or up to lifetime punishment. And that sort of, connotations, those sort of uh, biasness or not equalness is the work that uh, people like advocates like me do in this country.
Thank you for that perspective on the legal situation and the evolution of legal rights in India. And we will continue this conversation after a short break.
What if you could feel in control of your retirement in just a few clicks? At aceyourretirement.org, you can. Start with a free 3-minute chat with Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer some simple questions like, how do you feel about your ability to save for retirement? Or in how many years do you want to retire? To get free action items customized just for you, get your retirement back on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
You are loved. You are valued. You are resilient. You got this.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
The legal profession is not immune to the disruptive power of artificial intelligence. AI is reshaping the way lawyers research, analyze, and manage legal matters. AI-powered legal research tools can sift through vast volumes of legal documents, statutes, and case law in seconds, providing lawyers with comprehensive insights to build their cases. In courtrooms, AI is used to manage and present digital evidence effectively. It can organize and analyze evidence, making complex cases more understandable for judges and juries. In contract review, AI quickly identifies potential risks, inconsistencies, and compliance issues in legal contracts, saving valuable time and reducing human errors. The future of law is being shaped by AI. AI is streamlining legal research, improving courtroom presentations, enhancing contract analysis, and making legal information more efficient and accessible. Data Dive, infinite insights instantly.
Welcome back. Let's continue this conversation with Simran, where Simran, could you speak a little more about the current state of social attitudes towards transgender, and also a part of that would be the legal aspects as well, I would guess. So could you touch upon on where we are right now in with regards to attitudes?
Very interesting question, Salam. If you really, I mean, it's quite interesting to even, speak about it. Now, when we talk about the legal aspects and the societal attitudes, when we talk about during the daytime, we have uh, the so-called society really coming and touching our feet in seek of blessings, because they consider us to be sort of holy. They consider us to be the pure and the pious people. Interestingly, the same sunset faces a huge amount of violence, hate crimes, discrimination, and lack of dignity by the same society. So it's quite interesting that in the daytime you actually worship, because you consider these transgender women, especially women, not talking about men, especially the women, you consider them to be your good lucks, your god and goddesses. But at the same time, you see that cultural shift in the evening. Now that is purely on the lack of awareness within the societal norms. You know, because they can expect transgender to give blessings, but they can't expect a transgender to be sitting across a table, or for that instance, selling the body during the nights. Uh, you know, Performing their role with dignity, I would place it that way. Uh, and that's hard for people to really imbibe in them. And that's the struggle that we as an advocate face. A lot of places where people say that, you are being given respect, you are being talked highly about during the daytimes, but when we see the hate crime rates at the night, is actually alarming. Um, that's, as I mentioned, is lack of awareness. It's lack of gender knowledge, because we are still fit in this so-called binary world of men and women, male and female. Uh, you know, the the societal, in fact, only in recent years now has started thinking progressively and have opened their boxes and which goes beyond the binary. But during, say, maybe 10 years down the line, it was quite difficult to even explain them that, hey, it's not okay to call me by my dead name. And those revolutions have recently come into existence. So societal norms and attitude is is a vicious circle. It is right now changing, but we don't know when it will completely change.
So here's a question, a follow-up question with regard to society. And my question there is, do you see any difference across the country, from let's say a regional standpoint? Is there a north-south divide, or some states being more open to the transgender community? Because I keep hearing about, especially in Kerala, that there were job reservations provided for the transgender community in the metro rail, some other programs. So do you see that kind of a difference across the various states? Could you comment on that, please?
Salam. So instead, I would not divide India with various states, but I would divide India between urban and rural. That's where the actual phenomena lies. So let's talk about all the metropolitan cities, or maybe the state capitals. Uh, Very interestingly, all the state capitals have been of late very progressive. Many corporate industries, many job opportunities have opened avenues for being inclusive. We all have seen in the recent markets there is a wave of diversity and inclusion in the recent times, and that's where we have seen all the corporates, all the agencies opening their doors and ensuring that people come in and bring the diversified voices. But let's talk about a little one step behind of ensuring that these opportunities which are being given to the people have actual basis. And when I say basis, is the question of uh, ensuring safety of your employees at your at your companies, and those policies, those safety nets, such as minimalistic things like washrooms. Gender neutral washroom is enough for everybody to use it, but yet the industries are yet lacking in it. Uh, People are changing at this moment in the metropolitan city. We have seen a lot of positive case studies, lot of positive attitudes towards the entire LGBTQIA spectrum. Uh, as compared to the villages, to the interiors of the states, we haven't seen that progress as yet. And that's only because one is still getting themselves acquainted, one is still getting themselves uh, okay with the word called LGBTQI. And that's the tug of war between the rural and the urban settings that we have. I also foresee that, being a complete optimistic human being, I also foresee that the golden days are not that very far, Salam.
Interesting perspective there. So could you, it was good to know that things are changing in the urban environment. In the rural environment, I thought that is where there was more of the positive affiliation with the group, given the historical and also a little bit of a religious flavor also for the transgender community. So what's happening in the rural community in terms of attitudes towards transgender people today?
When we talk about the rural settings of this country, a lot of people are occupied. And when I say people, the transgender human beings are occupied in the so-called the um, oldest clan or family social security, which is also known as the Hijra community, or what we say is the Kinder community towards the north. And that bounding, that mother-daughter relationship is such a tight bounding that apart from we, small uh, small jobs or small preferences of jobs that a human being is entitled. But when we see a larger, because it's a rural entity, a rural city, the mindsets of people of being inclusive is still lacking. So one hand we see a very safe social security net, and at the same hand we also see uh, uh, a limited source of avenues one could rely on, a very limited set of livelihood options one can rely on. And that's why people migrate, people come to urban cities to have a better living opportunity.
I think with all the education and sensitization that is happening today, you are feeling more confident that these attitudes will change in India. And I think that's on that positive note. Let's take a short break and come back to talk more with Simran.
Oh my God.
What if you could feel in control of your retirement in just a few clicks? At aceyourretirement.org, you can. Start with a free 3-minute chat with Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer some simple questions like, how do you feel about your ability to save for retirement? Or in how many years do you want to retire? To get free action items customized just for you, get your retirement back on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
You are loved. You are valued. You are resilient. You got this.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
It took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
The legal profession is not immune to the disruptive power of artificial intelligence. AI is reshaping the way lawyers research, analyze, and manage legal matters. AI-powered legal research tools can sift through vast volumes of legal documents, statutes, and case law in seconds, providing lawyers with comprehensive insights to build their cases. In courtrooms, AI is used to manage and present digital evidence effectively. It can organize and analyze evidence, making complex cases more understandable for judges and juries. In contract review, AI quickly identifies potential risks, inconsistencies, and compliance issues in legal contracts, saving valuable time and reducing human errors. The future of law is being shaped by AI. AI is streamlining legal research, improving courtroom presentations, enhancing contract analysis, and making legal information more efficient and accessible. Data Dive, infinite insights instantly.
My name is Andrew Glisson. Over the past 4 years, I've built a portfolio of over 200 single-family rental properties that generate over $200,000 a month in income. I've put together a 6-step formula to help you consistently acquire rental properties that cash flow $250 or more a month and have $30,000 or more of equity built into them. This includes starting right, becoming bankable, buying right, renovating right, exit strategies, property management, and many more modules. Best of all, if you're not totally blown away by the content, we offer a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. If you're ready to build generational wealth for you and your family, look me up at sfruniversity.com.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
The legal profession is not immune to the disruptive power of artificial intelligence. AI is reshaping the way lawyers research, analyze, and manage legal matters. AI-powered legal research tools can sift through vast volumes of legal documents, statutes, and case law in seconds, providing lawyers with comprehensive insights to build their cases. In courtrooms, AI is used to manage and present digital evidence effectively. It can organize and analyze evidence, making complex cases more understandable for judges and juries. In contract review, AI quickly identifies potential risks, inconsistencies, and compliance issues in legal contracts, saving valuable time and reducing human errors. The future of law is being shaped by AI. AI is streamlining legal research, improving courtroom presentations, enhancing contract analysis, and making legal information more efficient and accessible. Data Dive, infinite insights instantly. Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Welcome back. Let's continue this fascinating conversation with Simran. Simran, I would like to do a deeper dive into your personal story, your story of transition from to a transgender person. Would you take us through that journey, please?
Sure, Salam. So honestly speaking, I was born in a in a sex which was assigned to me as a male during my birth, and I grew up in my early childhood days as a male child, and I was around sevenish when I started figuring out that I wasn't so-called as compared to all the other rest of the boys in my colony, in my society, where I used to, live, in my schools, like other boys. I wasn't so very active in sports, active in doing the so-called male gendered work. uh, I was more towards, feminine side. I was more towards the girlish side. I loved my dolls. Even I was at the age of, or almost around 7 and 8 year old kid. And those were the norms which defined me to find out why am I so different? What is the thing that is making me so different? And that's where I started uh, going behind the books to actually find out, more about a person like me and why am I like that. Um, and during my times, because I'm, a kid who was born in 80s without the so-called internet of today's, it was quite difficult to find the knowledge that was required. So all the resources that were available were only books, which I had to complete reading them in order to understand that, why am I so different? And by the time I realized that why am I so different, I was almost around 14 and a half. And that's where I came out to my family and I stayed that, I don't belong to this body. And that's where the period opened that the doors of acceptance was closed, which motivated me to sort of, walk away from the house and lead a life on my own terms. In one way, I'm thankful that that gave me a lot of hard work, a lot of roller coaster rides, which made me what I am today. My initial struggling days made me what I am today, because those days were not easy for a young kid to actually sell the body, for a young kid to actually beg on the streets, for a young kid just for his desiration to do odd jobs for sustainability. That struggle made me more confident person that I am today. It also provided me various platforms to to build my knowledge, to become what I am today, the opportunities that clicked in with as the time passed. And thankfully, this is where I am today, in front of you, giving this interview with Salam. But I want to mention one thing very clearly, that is the journey, the desiration. You heard it from my side. But actually, when I discussed, because of late, very recently, we reunited with our family, that's where I was asked two questions. One, how much time did I take to understand myself? And I proudly said around 7 to 8 years. And two, how much time did I give them to accept the way I wanted to be? And that's where I realized that my struggle was actually incomplete without actually convincing the people, the society. And I mean, the most important thing for me was my family to understand and explain them that it's okay that if I want to be what I want to be. Uh, that initial 19 years of my life without my parents was was a good way and a bad way. So today, when I do my, mainstreaming in the society, I really narrate this episode that it's the job of the society to understand uh, people like me, but it's also our duty as community to explain the society that it's okay to be what we want to be.
Mhm. So has your family's position changed since the time you were in a period of transition to where you are now? And if so, how has that part been?
So honestly speaking, Salam, that phase has been very, very tough. Because in India, Salam, no matter what age we are so united that we still stay with our parents. It's not the US culture that, once you are 18, you walk out of your house. It's not that. Whatever age we are, we stay united, we stay with our family. And that's the culture in India. Everybody follows that culture. And so do we, follow that culture. The toughest part was the missing element of your social security. Your parents become your social security. And when your social security is not there, that's the toughest period because you're vulnerable to n number of things. And it could be n number in any form. I could have been easily been a person who is injecting drugs or a person who is a robber or a person who would just be a gay, whatever, anything. But I was destined to become a transgender because when I walked out of my house after 3 days of my life, I encountered a transgender woman who sheltered me. And that's where I flowed with the flow of my life in that shape, in that culture. So I was not a born a hijra. I adapted the norms of hijra culture in me. And today that is why I proudly say that, I belong to a hijra gharana, which is the one of the most oldest and the authenticated and a bit of orthodox culture in our society in India.
Mhm. So let's talk a little bit about the role of gharanas, which are like, in my way of saying, community-based organizations which support transgender folks who are transitioning into a transgender community or a transgender lifestyle. So, and for the viewers here, just to talk a little bit about gharanas. Gharanas basically means homes, and in India there are homes for various schools of music, various schools of dance, and very much prevalent in the art and culture scene of India or historic India. And so the role of gharanas as a community-based organization that comes forward to support the transgender community, educate them, and provide that social network, I think is very critical. So it would be good to hear more about your experience and your knowledge about gharanas in India today and the role they play.
I think that's a very interesting question, Salam. Um, in India, because India, you can't say it, India as a country. India is actually a mini continent. India is so huge. We have uh, n number of cultures over here, and within one culture is the Hijra Gharana culture that we follow. And as you correctly mentioned, India has so many gharanas. The music industry has the gharana, the art culture has the gharana, the 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 tribal community has the gharana. So there are many, many gharanas that we really foresee in India. And one of them is also the Hijra Gharana, which I really mentioned in the starting existence, are from 405, I mean, almost around 5,000 years before. But what is the interesting part of this Hijra Gharana is that the Gharana follows the mother-daughter relation. The mother-daughter relation is so bound. And if you technically also see a mother-daughter relation, it's always said in the so-called patriarchal society that the fathers are more close to their daughters, the mothers are more close towards their sons. But in this, a lot of Hijra Gharanas have a lot of touch, a cultural touch with their mothers. And that's where one comes into the system. Remember, how one comes to the system is also very interesting. So nobody is forced to come into the system. Nobody is brought to the system. So there's no buying and selling in the system. What is the best and beautiful thing about the system is you need to take voluntary initiation into this family clan. In this family, beautiful family, if you want to initiate, you have to take your vows. You have to take an oath to come into the Hijra Gharana system. And once, based on your oath, after you complete your oath, then only you're recognized as a Hijra. Or else, you are just a trans woman. You're not a Hijra. So that's the interesting concept that we have. And honestly, sorry.
Sorry. I think it's an interesting conversation on Gharanas, and let's continue this conversation after a short break.
What if you could feel in control of your retirement in just a few clicks? At aceyourretirement.org, you can. Start with a free 3-minute chat with Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer some simple questions like, how do you feel about your ability to save for retirement? Or in how many years do you want to retire? To get free action items customized just for you, get your retirement back on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
You are loved. You are valued. You are resilient. You got this.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
There are so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
It took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
The legal profession is not immune to the disruptive power of artificial intelligence. AI is reshaping the way lawyers research, analyze, and manage legal matters. AI-powered legal research tools can sift through vast volumes of legal documents, statutes, and case law in seconds, providing lawyers with comprehensive insights to build their cases. In courtrooms, AI is used to manage and present digital evidence effectively. It can organize and analyze evidence, making complex cases more understandable for judges and juries. In contract review, AI quickly identifies potential risks, inconsistencies, and compliance issues in legal contracts, saving valuable time and reducing human errors. The future of law is being shaped by AI. AI is streamlining legal research, improving courtroom presentations, enhancing contract analysis, and making legal information more efficient and accessible. Data Dive, infinite insights instantly.
Welcome back. Let's continue this fascinating conversation with Simran. And Simran, let's talk more about the role of gharanas and the social support that the gharanas provide to the transgender community.
Yes, Salam. So the role of this gharana is very clear. It provides social security uh, for any new initiation into a family. That's the clear role. Of course, we have our own rules and mandate to be followed. Uh, a less of Western culture, a more of traditional Indian culture is followed within this gharana. And the basic source of generating incomes is through either begging or giving blessings in the exchange of arms. Those are the two primary source of income. But due to the modern phase that's going on in the current period, a lot of many of our Hijra communities are also in various uh, employment opportunities, and have selected their own domains. So we have seen a lot of celebrities who are open and out trans people, a lot of models, a lot of people into uh, the business world have now emerged from the Hijra Gharana. So we have seen the shift of the paradigm from just two livelihood opportunities to a lot many things in 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 the kitty. And that's what the beauty of Hijra Gharana is, that when a child is abandoned, the Hijra Gharana is there with their wide arms open to give them shelter and social security. That's the actual true meaning of mother-daughter relationship in the Gharana system.
Mm-hmm. So for the youngsters who are transitioning into the transgender world, the gharanas provide a kind of a foster home of sorts, because many of them are not accepted by their parents, and so they get kind of supported by these gharanas, which also provides that father/mother figure roles in the community. So that is very interesting to note, that there is a whole support network out there, that's really good to know. So now let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges that the community faces, starting with, I think, economic challenges, healthcare access, educational, job, so could we talk about some of the challenges in day-to-day life if a transgender person wants to go about leading a normal life?
How do I face this, Salam? Because it's such a beautiful question. How do I face this? I think struggle and challenge, these two words walk as a shadow of a trans individuals. Uh, where in a place where we are worshipped like God and goddesses, we are also ridiculed and murdered uh, in the same society. So it's quite confusing as to what are the challenges. In one hand, we see a lot of changes in the societal norms, but the actual change is yet to come in the mindsets of this society. And as you correctly mentioned, when attitudes change, a lot of things change in the society. So till then, uh, it's a struggle, it's a challenge, challenge of any initiative, let it be healthcare. A lot of people are not even touched by the so-called medical uh, professionals just because you do not fit in the binary. Many people are not given jobs till date in spite of being qualified because they lack certificates to prove on the table that they are so and so or they bring that expertise on the table. Many people are judged because um, the way they look uh, is a questionable mark for the society. Many people are also have lost their lives just because they wanted to pay themselves. So challenges and struggles, as I mentioned earlier, is the shadow of a transgender individual in India.
Mm-hmm. So, and comparing to some of the challenges that we see in some parts of the world, I keep hearing about a lot of violence, physical, verbal, that the transgender community have to go through in many parts of the world. And you cannot compare apples to apples as to what's going on in one part of the world versus the other. But how do you see the violence or in the towards the transgender community in India? Do you see a lot of it? Is there like that urban-rural divide, north-south divide? Do you see any such trends or numbers? Could you share some numbers or perspectives on that aspect?
Sure, Salam, because the numbers are going to be quite fresh because just recently on 20th of November, we observed the Transgender Remembrance Day. It's an international Transgender Remembrance Day. And every year during those period, we do mention the beautiful souls who have left this planet just because they wanted to be their own self due to the hate crimes against them. So interestingly, even this year, we could only see the tip of the iceberg. Uh, and that tip of the iceberg was just mentioning a figure of 51 hate crimes. Now remember, 51 in this huge continent is, is a minuscule number. Yes, it is a minuscule, but it's just a tip of the iceberg because many incidents do not even get reported. Many incidents do not even uh, be registered. Uh, that's where we struggle to actually find out the rate of violence uh, among the trans folks here in India. Now, if we divide the country in 4 zones, east, west, north, south, yet it is quite difficult which region is very, very prominent. Because at one particular region, we have seen back to back 4 murder cases in down south. And at the same time, we have seen in the west where there were 2 brutal murders of youngsters at the age of 16. Recently, we saw a 16-year-old student, a gender non-conforming student, who lost their life due to the trollings that they faced on the social media handles. These are just fresh episodes. These are just recent numbers. But believe me, Salam, this is just the tip of the ice.
Mm-hmm. Let's hope that with a lot more education, we will be able to see a drop in those kind of activities, criminal activities targeted against the transgender communities. But now let's also talk about some of the global perspectives here. So you've been active in some of the global forums, and how do you see the learnings being shared across the communities globally? Do you see some parallels across the world that can be adopted across the board? Or do you see differences? How is the knowledge sharing happening across the global community of transgender persons?
So, if you see globally, the scenario are more or less the same. The hate crime, the lack of dignity, the lack of respect exists everywhere. To some extent, really in a large number, to some extent at a lower pace.